we're gonna go back in the house, there's gonna be this it.
Oh
Oh,
my god. That's image.
I would really go sleep. Yeah, talk about an adrenaline rush. Yeah, you're in New Hampshire now.
That's
My, I'm just out there, waving my hands, yelling, clapping, making all kinds of noise.
You know,
It just kept up the noise until the bear finally said, I don't know if I want to stay here.
yeah, well, that's what it's supposed to.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Just act crazy.
Don't push it.
No.
When it's decided it's gonna hunker down, flee, don't push it.
It's funny, the bears are like. Bunch of mush.
Yeah, they're good eating.
Of course, we'll call to order the September 17th Town Valentine Planning Board meeting.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. And to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Present on the board, we have.
Michael Drake.
Mike Carson.
Caitlin Sheridan.
Ryan Bogey.
And Mike Mura admin, Chad's not here, so city shows. Also Brian on the books. All right, so. Pretty good.
All right, let's take it through it. So anything under old business? No. We got a couple of new business items, so Mike.
Yeah. So the first thing in your packet, and I do apologize, some of your packets do not have staples because the staple here is gone. Again, I believe, and every other staple we talked away. So apologies for that. You do have in your packet the notice of land use board fees that we talked about the last time around. And if you look on page 2, we had said at the bottom of page 2 under town application fees. We said we would just specify the $500 minimum. We used to say 250 or 500, but people were all confused. So we'll just make it 500, right? And then on page 3 of the document for the zoning board, we just clarified that those fees are non-refundable in Title 1.
Sure.
Just like the planning board fees. Those were the only changes that were made to that document. So, if you're okay with it, we do need to vote to approve it.
I will entertain a motion to approve the land use board fees and the changes that were made to the fees.
So.
Second,
All right, roll call vote.
Mike J.
Aye.
Right.
Ryan, aye. Is Caitlin board member son?
If you want to invite her on, Chad's not here.
Chad's an alternate.
So, yeah, all Chad's not on, yeah, so you can't, sorry. Sorry.
And Ryan.
All right. For the second one, when I started going through the changes in the law. The first one is the parking requirements, so it would be chapter 13, section 1503.2. Which basically now says that no residential dwelling unit shall be required to have more than one parking space. That's the new law, okay? But I also put in there because it's mentioned in the analysis of the law that this term does not affect the power to regulate parking at land uses other than dwelling units. So that means we can still regulate parking for more than one parking lot, more and more parking space for commercial units and basically commercial units, retail units, building, a business units, that kind of thing. So I wanted to capture that in the regulation as well. So that's a more or less a slam dunk. Okay. What's not so much of a slam dunk is the rest of it. Yeah.
Hello.
So you have a document of where do I belong? Help me find a home. All right.
I like it.
So I just wanted to introduce this tonight, I don't plan to go into it in detail, but as I was going through, starting revising the, one ordinance. I started to revise the ordinance with the other law changes. Then I thought to myself, is this really where they belong, right? So then I said about creating the where do I belong documents, okay? So what I've done is I've taken all of the House bills and Senate bills that impact land use law in one way or another here in town, okay? I've listed all the requirements for everybody to take a look at. But what we as a board need to figure out is where they have to belong. For example, if you go to House Bill 92, it basically is going to talk about members of the planning board serving on the zoning board and vice versa, in the after recusal vote, right? That probably belongs in our rule of procedure rather than a zoning ordinance. That's my thought. Okay, so that's what I said. Probably belongs in the PB rules of procedure, right? But after that, I want to open it up to everybody else. But think about where do these other things belong? Okay, because when you look at some of them, they kind of intertwine, you know, the governing body, which is for the select planning board and things like that. So, and appeals to the zoning board of adjustment. So my thinking is some of these might actually belong in the site plan regulation document rather than the zoning ordinance. But I want you to take a look at it and think about it. And we don't have to do it tonight, I'm not planning on it tonight. But think about it and please come back to the next meeting and bring these back so I don't have to deal with any more free. So that we can actually think about where to belong. In the meantime, what I will do with this where do I belong document is I will also ask that monitor to weigh in on also so that we have good feedback from those two individuals.
Would we go to the level of, other than like rules of procedure, are like the zoning ordinances, the site plan regs, is there, like, would we go as granular as individual board pages? Like where else would we, where are the other options?
But they're the only regulating documents we have, unless we created a new document, which I would not advise. We could probably do if necessary is add a new chapter perhaps to the site plan regulations. To capture some of those things for information purpose. Because let's face it, I'm not all going to remember this 6 months, 9 months, a year from now, right? So we do need to capture it someplace. So think about that. So I think our three options are, you know, put it under chapter 13 of the zoning ordinance, which will quote that chapter, I think, too much. And we'll introduce things that are not really zoning ordinance items. Perhaps put it in the site plan regulations for the choice to be to create a new document. These in your for reference, as we go through the future iteration of reviews and considerations by the board. So think through it and come back and we'll talk about it next time if that's okay.
Okay.
All right. Good. All right. So we didn't have honorable minutes.
All right.
Did we get one meeting on?
I haven't had them in the physical document. You have a physical file.
Yeah, I know. What did I put in the question? That's because people on figure about it.
Do I have a motion to approve the August 20th planning board minutes? So by Mike. Second by Joanna. Roll call vote.
Mike J. I.
I guess I.
Brian, I.
Thank you.
I like that you guys are doing your same order. You get first of the person and. Okay, all right, so correspondence.
So correspondence, there is an os. All right, so. Again, in addition to what we just talked about. Put out again in the heliosphere. If any member of the planning board has any other zoning ordinance changes they would like to consider. I've gotten feedback from Ryan Armstrong, he does not have any for this year. We probably have enough to deal with. And usually. And a rule of thumb, but not written down anymore, which limit changes to 6 great arguments. Because after that, people go across the, trying to read the board, on board, they were trying to read it, and they're like, they lose interest. And then they go down whatever line they happen to be on and say yes or no, you know. So, just think about that, see if there's anything that you think needs to be addressed in addition to what we're going to talk about next time around. And just we'll talk about that then. So, that will be October 1st, probably, or first or second meeting in October. And that means we'll have to decide pretty much by the end of October what we're going to do, because then we have to get language ready, get a review by attorneys, get ready for a public hearing at the first final meeting in December. It's kind of the timeline. All right, so I think through that.
Is there any discussion or input from the board at this time on recommendations or changes?
All right, so next thing is New Hampshire legislature land use changes, so there are some upcoming. And you have a document called legislative alert on NHMA. So the two items referred to here, SB 459 and HB 459, SB 84, were tabled during the last legislative session, but there's a meeting actually occurring on September 23rd to try and get these things moving again. And they basically, if they pass, what it means is that the state will dictate certain elements of our zoning. They basically want to take it out of the control of municipalities, cities, towns, etc., and put it to control of the state level. And in particular, these ones talk about the maximum lot size for single family residential lots. So now we have like 2 acre and 5 acre lots. Don't know, that could be restricted to 1 acre lots, or we don't know. We don't know where it's going to end up. NHMA and pretty much all of the municipalities in the state are against this. It takes away local control. But we'll see where it goes. So if you've got anything else to do at 10 a.m. on September 23rd, and you feel like when we conquer, feel free to do so and express your opinion on the matter.
You're gonna have people outside the state house and this land is your land.
That's right. Yeah, and there are, I did take a quick look at as the legislature is starting, we'll be back in session later, start their agenda. Something like that. But there's already 10 bills that they're thinking about bringing to the table already for land, associated with land use or land use change bills. So, but there's no text or no description associated with an energy bill number. So we'll be keeping an eye on that as we get both of them down. All right. The last thing on under correspondence is you have in your packet a proposed public hearing notice for a lot line adjustment for 10 involving 10 Bunny Lane and 6 Chester Turnpike. So we're planning currently, Mr. Chairman, if that's okay with you, planning to have this on first meeting, which means that the public notice will have to get issued no later than Friday. All right, if required notice, newspaper until a letter like that. So actually, on this document, I just need your concurrence. We don't need your vote on this particular document, but please take a read of it and let me know if you're okay. And the envelopes stuff and Frank tomorrow, get them in mail.
We require a street name adjustment.
Beyond the scope of the planning board, I'm afraid. You bring that up with our ex officio.
I would be like, additional comments.
It looks good to me.
I think we're good to go.
Go, all right, perfect, thank you.
Mr. T. Where, Mr. T? Lot line adjustments, 3rd paragraph, 1, 2, 3, what line?
Agenda was a
Lot 18, so north.
Oh,
And I've been talking about the road plan that,
Ah,
Sorry, 1, 2, 1, 1, 4, 9, lot, oh. Oh, lot, yeah, thank you. Lot 4, should say lot 4.
Ah, so catch your mind.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay.
I read this.
It's smart, Ray knows what it's supposed to say.
Yeah, I mean, I read this 5 times and it's probably low is technically, it's not HI and whatever words.
Really good. We don't have anything else, or there are no updates on the building inspector, so unless there's anything else, that's what I'm, Chairman.
Anything else from the board?
I was down at Knox today and I learned that they received an extension from the McDonald's next March.
Yeah, that would tie in with what our plans are at McDonald's, are planning the spring 2026 construction. Season for the rest of it.
So that gives them a lot of time to find a new location and move to.
Yeah.
Let's, if I'm sure if anything is. That would be the best place.
Yeah, it's, I mean, that's sort of where, I mean, Ocean was part of, was it True Value now, or just one or the other? It's associated with the people on the website, which somehow associated with either True Value or Ace Hardware now. And both of those locations are typically in like small shopping malls and places like that, so.
Well, that's what I was on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what it used to be in that strip mall.
that's strip mall, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe,
The other support there is that Olympus is done for sale for 100 days already. And they dropped their price from 900 to 800,000. So if anybody's been in there, to me, the whole interior has got to be good. Brings it to the nine. It's been changed so many times.
I've evolved over the years, so I'm thinking.
You really don't walk into a person. Immediately you're facing the kitchen.
Yeah, that's probably true, yeah, that's a good point.
Okay.
Okay,
Anything else? Then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
By Mike,
Second.
by Mike. Roll call.
Like Jay,
Mike, that I.
Ryan, aye.
6:46 adjourn. Thank you, everybody, appreciate it.
Nice quick meeting.